The other point we wish to make is that if we take the case of Struan Lodge, we have 9 residents. The council is responsible for hundreds of older people. It's our duty to provide the best care we can for all of them. A couple of the points made here. I listened to Councillor Walsh throw out numbers in his usual style, with no backing, no model, just take these at my word. I'll give you a couple of key facts in Struan Lodge. You only need to know 2. The staffing costs at Struan Lodge at the end of February are projected for the year at £726,000. The cost of providing care for 9 people in the independent sector at a higher nursing care rate is £265,000. £500,000 almost. That could be better directed to improving the care of all our older people. Why should it be a lottery whether you get into Struan Lodge or you go into the independent sector? Why should all these other older people have to settle for poorer quality, for less care, for lower standards?
It's choice.
So it's choice.
What's your question, Mr. Robb?
The other point I wish to make is...
No, what is your question,
The other
Mr.
point I
Robb?
wish to make is that those who say there should be a raising of the moratorium until we decide how this implementation can be taken forward. What's going on at the moment is a consultation process with staff, with carers, with family to develop the implementation plan. Those who say lift the moratorium, where is the logic in that? When you say if one of the outcomes, and the likely outcome, is that Struan will eventually close, or in Michael Russell's words, will no longer continue to operate as a council-run facility, why would you wish to put people into that facility only to move them out again? Where's the rationale? I suggested that the Calcuria, and that's a direct quote.
Oh, I've read the Calcuria, don't worry.
Hand it back to the lady.
What was the question?
I'm going to ask Dick to respond to that because he was the man who was...
There is much that I could say, but I think the demonstration that you've all just seen can give you a good illustration about how the word consultation is much maligned, because the individual that spoke there referred to consultation but had already made up his mind. But the one thing that is annoyed me on, let's give this gentleman a lesson in finance, and you're about to hear it. How dare you suggest I would come here and quote figures but not produce a financial model? I will produce a financial model. By the way, the reason that the financial model is not produced at the budget is because you would just simply take it and copy it and make your life easier. Well, let's talk about Struan Lodge. First of all, the figure that you quoted about the expenditure is wrong. The expenditure of Struan Lodge is £785,000, which includes the staffing, the premises, procurement and insurance. Now, what we've managed to demonstrate is that that cost can be reduced because they're now calculating £140,000 worth of income. So if you take the £140,000, Councillor Robb, from the 785, you will find that the net costs are £644,000. And when you divide that by 52 and then by the 12 beds, you will find that the unit cost will work out at £1,032. But what I've demonstrated here tonight is by looking at efficiencies, and the staff are with us on this, and by looking at the potential for the generation of additional income, and the staff are with us in this because it's achievable, you can reduce that figure by £50,000. And again, by looking at the integration of the services within the complex, and having calculated the likely additional income from the increased capacity, there would be a cost benefit to the council of a further £150,000. So you add those two figures, it's £200,000, and when you reduce that from the £644,000, you come to a figure of £444,000. Again, divide that by 52 weeks and divide it by the 19 beds that we're suggesting the capacity could be increased to, you will arrive at a figure of £450 per week. You don't need to set that down, but it's already set down. The financial model is already being worked on. But the first thing you haven't recognised is the need, and we're suggesting this, of improving the quality throughout the totality of our Gelling Group. We have excellent facilities in the public sector, things that we are proud and should be proud of. But by finishing, focus on the needs of our elderly people. If you do that, I will work with you to make sure that can happen. And our Gelling Group will start to move forward in the way that it could move forward and secure the aims and objectives in its corporate strategy of improving the life and the quality of its people in our Gelling Group. And in this case, it's the elderly in our Gelling Group and in Kiln.